hush, girl child in the dark. Comes and bells, your servant, don't forsake him. Strive, dear mistress, and cure his heart.
Tonight on the South Bank Show, the story of the Velvet Underground, which has been described as the most influential rock group of the 60s. They played together for only 4 years, 1966 to 1970, and made only 4 albums during that time. They never played outside America. But the Velvet Underground introduced a rough edge of street realism and doubt into pop music at a time when most bands were still caught up in West Coast flower power, especially poppy power. Without them, it's probably fair to say that punk wouldn't have happened. Their influence is acknowledged by people as diverse as David Bowie, Talking Heads, and the Young Jesus and Mary Chain. 17 years after they broke up, their songs are still widely recorded, and this week Polydor are re-releasing all their albums. The Velvet Underground were Lou Reed, a rock and roller from Long Island, avant-garde musician John Cale, guitarist Sterling Morrison, and a young, untrained drummer, Maureen Tucker. For a time, they were joined by the beautiful singer, Nico. Together, they created the first alliance between pop music and the avant-garde. Perhaps it could only have happened in the 60s, when the emergence of pop art and underground cinema caused an explosion in the established art world. Maybe a big pop rather than a big bang, but impact it had. To reflect the mood of the time, we've illustrated the story of the Velvets with rare underground film from that period. The Velvet Underground were promoted by pop artist Andy Warhol in the mid-60s. Warhol was at the height of his celebrity then. To his New York studio, the factory, came art dealers, limousine liberals, and downtown bohemians. Warhol's films of these people became as famous as his paintings, and he began to look for a new three-dimensional art form. The Svengali of fashion struck again. Pop art met art pop.
We're sponsoring a new band. It's called the Velvet Underground, and we're trying to. Since I don't really believe in painting anymore, I thought it would be a nice way of combining, and we have this chance to combine music and art and films all together, and we're sort of working on that, well, the whole thing is being auditioned tomorrow at 9 o'clock, and if it works out, it might be very glamorous.
Began to become clear that the Warhol enterprises were going to be something on the order of a Hollywood studio. And the Hollywood studios need not only a lot of stars around jockeying for position, but a big lot on which to perform. And it was perfectly natural, if the art was being made there and the films were being made there, for the music to come the same way.
everything that he touched, he had such facility of making it a big success somehow. He turned everything into gold.
Who did that picture? So much gold. Oh, you know, that pop artist. What's his name? He makes avant-garde films, too. Oh, you mean him? I saw some of those films. Nothing happens in them. Well, people are just supposed to be themselves or something like that. Oh, there's one of his actors. Oh, he was in the thing I saw. The only good thing is, I think he should go to Hollywood. Are you kidding? He looks too far out.
I mean, in a really big way, the crossover happened with the Velvet Underground and Andy and the art world. So the band actually became more like an art band because of its association with Andy and because of Andy's association with the art world, as opposed to just another rock and roll band. Well, I was working at the factory with Andy. It was just about the time that the Velvets became associated with us. And I really got into the music, and I started dancing in front of the group.
I be your mirror, reflect what you are, in case you don't know. I be the wind, the rain and the sunset, the light on your door, to show that you're home. When you think the night has seen your mind, that inside you're twisted and unkind. Let me stand to show that you are blind. Please put down your hands, 'cause I see you.
The Velvet Underground were a completely unknown group until they met Andy Warhol. Andy Warhol, within the space of 3 months after meeting them, had them playing nightly at the Dome on St. Mark's Place to an extraordinary audience, a mixture of uptown socialites, downtown trash, junkies, factory people, society people, fashion editors, and everything. It was a new accumulation of people that hadn't been seen before. And they became famous.
It's my wife, and it's my life, because a man to my vein leads to a center in my head, and then I'm better off than dead. Because when the smack begins to flow, I really don't care anymore about all the Jim-Jims in this town and all the politicians making crazy sounds and everybody putting everybody else down and all the dead bodies piled up in mounds.
Velvet's music, as a legacy, they were really precursors to a lot of what's happening today. They were really the pathfinders. They were the ones that were going to take the ridicule, even. Where what's happening now is a lot of that music is more or less accepted.
It was an attempt to be revolutionary, an attempt to combine both the avant-garde and the commercial and try and make a run at it. We rehearsed at one point for a year and a half, every day for a year and a half, and recorded every rehearsal. And I ended up filing down the bridge of my viola and calling it a three-string drone, and put guitar strings on it, and used the bass bow on it, and it would make a noise very similar to a B-52. And together, the thing when we really started performing it with some power, I mean, it would definitely have a daunting effect on the audience. I was interested in developing rock and roll in a sense that you would incorporate this, both the funky side of rock and roll and the Wagnerian side of rock and roll, and put it together.
But Lou was living upstairs and heard us playing all these blues records and whatnot. At the wee hours of the morning, he had the campus radio show that was on once a week on Saturdays. So he came down to borrow records. And I could hear all this humming and buzzing upstairs. And that was Lou warming up. And then he was just playing as loud as he could with his amplifier hanging out the window. I said, oh, he plays guitar too. I have to talk to this guy. And so I did.
Come on, let's go. All right, everybody get down on your face, man. Get ready, yeah. Okay, come on. Hey, put your hands up on your knees, now do the all set. Yeah, take this forward, step on your head, now do the all set. All right.
They're all real simple ideas. 3 chords, turn it up, and make the lyrics be about something. Had to be about something that had to do with everyday reality as we knew it then, as opposed to just nothing or making believe it was about something. I mean, I think a real characteristic of the Velvet Underground, as I think is about my own songs, is that they're really about something. I mean, that we really care about, that really happen, that have some bearing in real life, and they're not just a disposable subject. I mean, I was trying to give you a shot of some of the street.
Standing on the corner, suitcase in my hand, Jackson's corset, Jane is in her vest, and me, I'm in a rock and roll band. Huh. Riding a Studs Bearcat, Jim. You know, those were different times. All the poets, they studied rules of verse, and those ladies, they rolled their eyes. Jack, he is a banker, and Jane, she is a clerk.
There was the songwriter Lou. He was rapidly trying to show me all these other songs, but he was playing them on an acoustic guitar, and I said I was really fed up with folk music. The Dylan stuff and Joan Baez stuff, I was quite disinterested in people writing songs that had nothing but questions in them. That it was far better to make a statement than, you know, how many miles must the man. And but when I read the lyrics, they certainly were not. I mean, the lyrics to Heroin was certainly not self-pitying.
They're good songs. I mean, they're going to stand up no matter who plays them, but they're nothing like how we wound up playing. Me with my no drum training whatsoever, just bashing away, made a huge difference. Sterling with his nice, quiet little ideas of guitar playing and his real solid rhythm playing, and John with his manic viola. Lou would go off on a tangent, and Cale would go off on a tangent, and if someone wasn't holding it all down, it would just be this massive confusion. So I would concentrate on just playing the same beat we started at, and just keep it under there, so when everybody came back, there was something to go back to.
In 1965, the pop music scene, wherever it was going to go without us. That was our conclusion. John had no pop involvement whatsoever, and Lou and I had given up. It was impossible. The bands all had matching suits and little choreographed routines, and it was Joey D, that kind of thing. Jay and the Americans, I guess they were around. It was very cosmetic.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to welcome you here to the Dance Pavilion up at Lake Arrowhead. To really kick off this swinging summer, from Reprise Records, we bring to you Mr. Personality himself, Donnie Brooks.
Hi, gang. I want to tell you about a woman. I want to tell you about a woman that's crazy. I call her Penny the Pooh. She knows exactly what to do. She's a real cool dolly. She's a hot tub Molly.
So we said, well, we don't have matching suits, and it's unlikely that we can work out any of these dance routines. So I guess we've had it, and that was it. So Lou, John, and I, having concluded that we'd had it, we're then free to pursue anything we wanted.
Here she comes. You better watch your step. She's going to break your heart in two. It's true. It's not hard to realize. Just look into her false-colored eyes. She'll build you up to just put you down. What a clown, 'cause everybody knows the things she does to please. She's just a little tease. See the way she walks. Hear the way she talks. Well, I'd been living in New York since 1959, modeling, doing, modeling for Fords. Until I took up acting lessons with Lee Strasberg, and Marilyn Monroe was in my class. Very exciting. And he said I should join him in New York. And it was Bob Dylan that introduced me. And he also told Andy that he should make movies with me. I guess he wanted to look at me through a magnifying glass. And, just wherever he went, he had just... To me, it seemed that way, when you always have a camera with you at all times.
His sense of surveillance was very acute.
Accurate?
Acute and accurate. Well, yeah.
Acute.
He was a spy. He spied on everybody.
Un voyeur.
I mean, he just put disparate elements together, which is what I've always appreciated him for, because I thought that's the approach that I had towards the music, was that there was Nika, there was Lou, there was Sterling, there were more, and you put 4 or 5 different elements together, and you get a sixth.
You had a very eclectic gathering of people from time to time at the factory. You had Andy's gallery dealer, Leo Castelli, would come by with maybe one or two people. You had collectors that Andy knew. They came by on occasion. And always when somebody like that would come by, there would always be another group of people there also, maybe a couple of amphetamine heads or, you know, people that didn't have a place to stay, or artists, other artists, or poets even. Maybe a fashion model or two on occasion.
Tomorrow's Parties, which is on the first record, which is Andy's favorite song, which is all about, well, it's all about this girl who's concerned because she doesn't know what sort of dress she should wear to go to the party tomorrow, and she hasn't got enough money to go and buy a new one, so she's got to borrow someone else's dress, you know, and so on. These are all like little specifically short stories about individual peoples, which group together create kind of a group portrait of a sensibility and of a lifestyle, in the same way that the film Chelsea Girls does exactly the same thing. I mean, Chelsea Girls basically is 12 different vignettes.
What? Come down here to make... to make a movie? Come down here to... I hate movies. The Underground is not my scene. Excuse me, I have a trick here, dear, that causes me a little bit of problem. Now, I'm here. Shut up! I... Oh, Jesus Christ. You're right.
Life in the 60s was just totally different. Everybody was taking speed. Everybody was drinking a lot. You know, nobody went to sleep at night. We used to stay up for 8 and 9 days without going to bed. I recorded for about 8 years every moment of my life. I would come home and, you know, 3 o'clock in the morning from Max's Kansas City, and I would sit there and listen to my whole day of tapes, writing 0 to 5, conversation with Andy about so-and-so. I would type this all up to put it in the cassette and then type it in books, and the really good, juicy tapes, I would transcribe the whole thing, just for my own personal use. And then Lou used to call me up. There was a period when Lou used to call me up all the time and sing to me over the telephone his new songs.
I don't know just where I'm going, but I'm gonna try for the kingdom if I can, 'cause it makes me feel like I'm a man when I put a spike into my vein, and I tell you things aren't quite the same when I'm rushing on my run, and I feel just like Jesus' son, and I guess that I just don't know, and I guess that I just don't know.
I think it was like very unusual to have someone with a viola or a violin in a group, and a girl drummer, and also the songs were very very radically different from your normal rock and roll love song. They dealt more with darkness, and there wasn't anything optimistic about the songs, in a sense.